Krishna, who still has a body, and that is what is given here. After attaining prema, Shraddha to prema, now we are going beyond and shedding the current body. See that? Shedding the current body, the material body must be given up and enter his holy abode. So we have to get a spiritual body. So it's not possible for ordinary practitioners. Then in that body, these stages of sneha, mana, and so forth develop in him, in a spiritual body. And gopis are all spiritual bodies, transcendental bodies, just like Krishna, according to bhava relationship with Krishna. And then particular rasas a particular devotee has, dasya bhav, sakhya bhav, vatsalya bhav, madhurya rasa, and so on like that. The topmost manifestation prema, the mahabhava, the highest stage, manifests only in those who have taken shelter of the amorous mood of Braja. And actually that is possible only by Srimati Radharani. It cannot possibly manifest in anyone else. So you have to understand that, okay? And that's one of the reasons the scope of Madhurya Kadambini, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, limited to only Shraddha to Prema. And this goes well beyond that. Okay? And I don't know why this author chose to include that. Since he has done that, so we'll go through that. So that is sneha, okay? Upon the arousal of sneha, one's greed for darshana, laulyam, of Sri Krishna is never satisfied. Is constantly endeavoring to get more and more and more, And then second stage is this mana. Now mana is of course Srimati Radharani, right? When sneha expands to even greater excellence, one begins to experience Sri Krishna ever fresh sweetness like never before, and assumes a deviousness, and that is Srimati Radharani. Remember, Chandravali is all accommodating. Whatever Krishna desires, she would gladly accommodate. But Radharani would show some resistance, hard to get, right, like that, hard to get. But that was more attractive to Krishna, because then Krishna had to struggle to please Radharani. So that is called mana. So in this stage, one's possessiveness, mamatva, for Shri Krishna increases even more. So Radharani could not bear to share Krishna with other gopis. She thought that Krishna is all mine and mine alone. So that mamatva bhav is extremely under most intense way, So there is no place there for that contemptible crookedness, which is rooted in selfishness, Now, remember the word you heard, selfishness, on the material plane, that the way we understand, that is not there on the transcendental platform, okay? Here, selfishness is desirable, like greed. On a material platform, greed is bad, right? But laulyam, intense greed to please Krishna, is desirable on the transcendental platform. So here also selfishness is on the transcendental platform, you must understand. It's not on the material platform. Selfishness means it's all Krishna is mine, and Krishna must remain with me. That kind of mamatva bhav, Srimati Radharani had that. So here is a unique prema that particularly pleases Shri Krishna like that. Okay, then from mana to pranaya. Now, of course, in the it is not mentioned here, but Shri Ujjwal Nilabani, we learn this pranaya and mana. Sometimes pranaya comes first, then mana, or sometimes mana comes from pranaya, okay? But here it's not mentioned, but we learned it that. So pranaya means that when mana reaches even greater excellence through the feeling of mamatva, one attains a state in which it appears that one's own life, airs, mind, intelligence, body, clothing, ornaments are non-different from the life, air, mind, intelligence, body, clothing, and ornaments of Shri Krishna. So one's own possessions has no significance relative to what Krishna is that. That takes a dominant power, dominant way at this stage of pranaya. Okay? This stage is called pranaya, a complete trust or absence of formality. So that intimacy is at the highest stage. There is no formality in the sense giving respect to Krishna, like that is not there. Is Krishna is all mind, and extreme informality, intimacy is there at the pranaya stage. Then comes raga. Raga really literally means great attachment. So this topmost level of pranaya is called raga. So when pranaya matures, it becomes raga platform. At this stage, when there is the possibility of attaining Shri Krishna, one experiences tremendous distress as happiness. So you see, this is little concept is little difficult to understand. Here, Krishna gave a lot of difficulties to Radharani, right? But even Krishna's giving difficulties is a great happiness to Srimati Radharani. That you have to understand. So even the distress for the sake of Krishna is always welcome to such a devotee who has great raga, great attachment for Krishna. So here that's what is mentioned here. One experiences tremendous distress as happiness, and when one does not attain him, one experiences great happiness as extreme distress. So when Krishna is not there in great separation, of course there's a great deal of distress in separation, the pain. But in the pain, the devotee experiences great joy that the pain is for Krishna, for the sake of Krishna. And Radharani went through all these such stages. Okay, now, so that raga now becomes anuraga, even much greater intensity. So that raga, which becomes newer and newer at every moment and causes one to continuously pursue one's beloved in an ever fresh manner, is called anuraga. So nothing is like same, always developing newer and newer aspect. That attachment is getting tighter and tighter, greater and greater. That is called anuraga. So the word anu in Sanskrit means to follow. Anuraga means follow the raga that we had before. And now the final, actually bhava and mahabhava. But here the author combines both bhava and mahabhava. And he quotes from Ujjwal Nilamani. So when anuraga attains state of being pursued by itself, is revealed externally through sattvic bhavas. So the devotee goes through that, shedding tears and so on like that, So that is sattvic bhava. Takes shelter of the highest raga and spread its influence in all devotees. It is called bhava. And mahabhava is the wealth of the essence of the best nectar, and the mind takes up its nature. So mahabhava is the highest stage. Okay? The stage of mahabhava is not present in any other devotee. It's only Radharani at that mahabhava stage. In fact, she is the personification of mahabhava. It is unobtainable even for the queens of Krishna. Queens of Krishna, Rukmini, Satyabhama, all these queens, they did not have such a mahabhava. So that is what it's really reserved for the gopis, and particularly headed by Srimati Radharani. So that is the summary of this stages beyond prema. Okay? It's not for ordinary practitioners, devotees who still have material bodies. They all have these stages, only those who have spiritual forms, transcendental forms. Okay, now here Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives some scriptural foundation To this stage, now we are returning back to Madhurya Kadambini. Shraddha, then Sadhu Sangha. Sadhu Sangha allows Bhajana Kriya. Bhajana Kriya leads to Anartha Nivritti, and then Nishtha Bhakti. Okay. There's Anishta Bhakti also we discussed before, right? And then develops Ruchi. Ruchi means taste. And then Asakti, great attachment, and so on like that. So from Ruchi onwards, we will see the scriptural evidence. And this is very significant, okay? So listen very carefully. Now, here all I can do is to read really, because these are scriptural references. So here, this complicated slide, what I'm going to blow up each stages, okay? So next stage, so Ruchi now. So here we can read it better. So Ruchi stage, Narad Muni here said to Srila Vyasadeva. Now this is there in the first canto, 5th chapter, at great length in Bhagavatam, it says that. So O intelligent one, Narad Muni addresses Vyasadeva, by staying in the association of great souls who devotedly sing the pastimes of Krishna, and by continuously hearing, so Sadhu Sangha, and from the advanced souls, you keep hearing the pastimes of Krishna, okay? Continuous hearing. With great faith, their charming narrations about Krishna. My taste, so Narad Muni is explaining his own story in that particular lifetime that he had before he become, at that time he was the son of a widow mother. He was just a 5-year-old kid, but he had a chance, an opportunity to serve the advanced souls, Bhaktivedanta, great sadhus, who are visiting during the monsoon season, and his mother was serving them. So he was trying to help his mother, and by that time he had an opportunity to associate with such advanced souls, and had an opportunity, great fortune of relishing the Mahaprasada. What is Mahaprasada? Bhoga offered to Krishna has become prasada, and that prasada, when honored by great souls, then becomes Mahaprasada. So Narad Muni had the chance to partake this Mahaprasada, and the great mercy of this advanced souls allowed him to progress much quicker. So he went to this prema stage at that point actually. So he's narrating his own story, how he went to that stage, and how he once had a voice and actually darshan of Krishna also momentarily. Then Krishna withdraws, and he become very kind of morose, become very unhappy when he heard Krishna, when he saw that he wanted to hear more. But then Krishna tells him, no, not in this lifetime, you're not going to get it. You're not ready for it. So that is what he's telling his own story. At what stage he developed that great taste, Ruchi, because he heard it and he associated with this great advanced soul, Sadhu Sangha. So that's what we are hearing here. By continuously hearing of Krishna Katha from the great souls with faith, their charming narrations about Krishna, my taste for Krishna awoke in my heart. My intelligence became fixed in the enchanting glories of Parabrahma Shri Krishna. And through this intelligence, I could understand that this subtle and gross body should be engaged only in service to him. A great learning point for all of us is our body, gross body, this Pancha Mahabhuta, made of Pancha Mahabhuta, earth, water, air, fire, ether, like that. And this gross body, Mano, Buddhi, Ahankar, is all meant to serve Krishna with full capacity, So that is what we ought to do, So that is the learning point in this. So how Ruchi developed, to repeat, he developed Ruchi by associating and serving those advanced souls and partaking that Mahaprasada. Okay? and very, very faithfully he heard the narration of Krishna's pastimes from these advanced souls. That's how one gets ruchi. Now asakti, how one gets a great attachment for hearing Krishna Katha, an attachment for chanting the holy name. So here Kapil Dev is narrating to his mother Devahuti. Okay? And you know, Kapil Dev, who is in the third canto, is explained that Kapil Dev is the incarnation of Shri Krishna himself. Okay, so it is accepted that the mind is the cause of the jiva's bondage. Mind is a two-edged sword. Okay, so you have to control your mind. So it can bond us in the material existence, or it can also help us to free us ourselves. So in liberation. So when the mind is engrossed in material objects, it is the cause of bondage. See that? If we keep on keeping our engagement in material activities, so because we are in this material world, we have to make a living, so that you do it, but your heart and the mind is not in it. Your heart and mind is constantly, when is the weekend comes and when we get to hear these classes. That is what that great looking forward, that ought to be there. Then there is a chance to become free from this material detachment. Otherwise, it's not possible. When it's deeply attached, that is called asakti. Great deep attachment, looking forward when this weekend comes and when we get to hear Krishna Katha in these advanced lessons. That kind of intense lolium should be there. Looking forward to hearing that. That's how when we develop this attachment. So here now another one example is given, is the 9 Yogendras. Okay, is one of the 9 Yogendras Kavi, and they are giving discourse to King Nimi. We did a whole course on that actually. Dava Yogendras teaching to King Nimi. So here, free from the attachment, asakti, to any worldly person. So this attachment detachment goes both ways simultaneously. Detaching yourself from material activities and attaching yourself to Krishna. That both has to go side by side, hand in hand. Without shyness and shame, one should wander this earth singing the all auspicious narrations of Bhagavan's birth and activities, like 10th canto. But before you reach to 10th canto, you have to go through the first 9 cantos, hear about Krishna's pastime in his different incarnation. Then, when we understand 10th canto, by doing so, one develops deep attachment, asakti to him. So Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavatam, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, hearing Bhagavatam from the person Bhagavata. That is the secret of developing attachment for Krishna Katha. Now, coming to the Bhava stage. Now there is a Raga and Anuraga there. Shri Narada said to Shri Vyasadeva, Ved Vyasa, every day by the mercy of those great souls and in the saintly association. So here Narada Muni continuing, telling Vyasadeva about that particular lifetime that he had, how he developed this prema bhakti, about Shri Krishna. So this is a bhava stage he even reached. As I continuously and faithfully listen, affection, rati for Shri Krishna, whose glories are most pleasing, gradually arose within me. Narada Muni explains. And now, 2 other examples. Prahlad Maharaj. Now, Prahlad Maharaj and Narada Muni all reached to that stage. And of course, Prahlad Maharaj, spiritual master, is of course Narada Muni. So Prahlad Maharaj is telling to his school teachers, O Brahmanas, in the same way that a magnet automatically attracts iron, Bhagavan, the wielder of the disc, Sudarshan Chakradhari, has separated my mind from this material world. See that? This is the trick. How we can get detached from material world and attach ourselves with Krishna. More and more we hear Krishna Katha from the lotus mouths of a devotee, great souls. That's how one develops, Says separate my mind from this material world by his own sweet will. That's how Krishna becomes very pleased. Here is the devotee. He's eagerly looking forward to hear about me. So Krishna also helps, and especially Radharani, will and is forcibly attracting it towards him. Just as a drunkard may have no awareness whether he's dressed or not, completely he's gone mad. He's so much drunk, he does not even realize he has no clothes. Same way, but in a nicer way, better way, is a devotee who has received direct darshana of Bhagavan is also not conscious about his body. He's completely oblivious of his surroundings. That's why devotees sometimes laugh like a madcap, rolling on the ground, because he's constantly in tune with Krishna. So he's completely oblivious of his surroundings. So the onlookers, material people, they think that he's a madcap or what, like that. He's standing and sitting, nor does he notice when by providence he leaves one body and takes birth in another. And lo and behold, time comes when he sheds his material body and he develops, he gets a spiritual body and time to go back to Godhead. And completely, he is not even conscious about it. And all things this happens by the mercy of the Lord. Okay, let's take a short break, 5 minutes. Okay, final minute. Okay, the final seconds are ticking. All right. So now the prema stage. So we already discussed power stage, now prema stage. So that is the one, this final 3 lessons is all about prema. So now we are going to hear scriptural references to strengthen what we learned, the facts about prema bhakti. Okay. Sri Narada said to Vedvyasa, "O great sage," at that time, so Narada Muni is continuing telling the particular lifetime that he spent, how we develop prema, okay, stage wise. Completely overwhelmed by prema, the hair on my body stood on end, and my heart became extremely peaceful and cool. I was submerged in that flood of bliss to such an extent that I lost my awareness of both myself and the object of my meditation, Bhagavan. He's completely lost, completely in tune with Shri Krishna, that he forgot who himself was, like that. So here, Sri Narada Rishi said to Vyasadeva, when I sing of the pastimes of Sri Bhagavan, Krishna, whose lotus feet are the true source of all holy places and whose glorification is most dear to me. So that is the stage when a person comes to prema bhakti level, that is his focus. He immediately reveals himself as if summoned. So when you reach to that stage, intense eagerness at the prema stage, then Krishna himself reveals, as we saw in lesson 23, to a prema devotee how he bestows his 7 kinds of sweetness, Madhurya, in a stepwise way, in a particular order. Most significant part of lesson 23, you should not forget. So that is what Narad Muni himself experienced, that the revelation by Krishna when he became ready at that stage. So Narada said to King, now here Narada is teaching, instructing King Prachin Bari. And remember Prachin Bari, we understood in Bhagavatam, he, on the name of Vedas and everything, he was doing all this hinsa, violence, killing animals for sacrificing and so on like that. And how Narad Muni really illuminated him that that's the wrong thing to do. So he says, "O king, in the association of great souls who are addicted to singing the pastimes of Bhagavan, the many rivers of Shri Madhusudana's nectarian pastimes flow in all 4 directions. Those who with attentive, insatiable ear cups," so you hear through ears, right? But here you're drinking the nectar of Krishna Katha by the reception, the oral reception. Through ears you drink the nectar of Krishna Katha by simply hearing about it. Very, very poetic way of explaining that. Drink those stream of nectar cannot be touched by hunger, thirst, fear, lamentation, and delusion. It's like Parishad Maharaj, 7 days, 7 nights, he was hearing Bhagavatam from Shukdev Goswami, And Sukadeva Goswami told him that you must be tired, you haven't eaten anything. Now please. So he said, no, I don't need food. I have no hunger like that. He constantly, his thirst, his hunger was hearing Krishna Katha. That is what a Prema Bhakta, typical Lakshana, typical characteristic of a Prema Bhakta. And now that one of the Navayogendras are instructing King Nimi, Prema for Bhagavan arises in the heart of a person who is adept in bhajana. Adept in bhajana means he's hooked up to hearing Krishna Katha, chanting the holy name like that. All the 64 angas of bhakti process, he's engaged in that. And who has avowedly, means intense eagerness, keenly dedicated himself to constantly performing supremely auspicious kirtan of the holy name of the dear most Shri Hari. See, now when we chant, see, look at our stage. When we chant 16 rounds, and if you're doing at a stretch, after a while you feel tiredness, right? That means we are not paying attention in chanting the holy name. If you're doing pay attention and with focus and great meditation or chanting, then Krishna himself will flow the nectar. Then we'll experience, we'll never feel tired, of course, we are not reached to that stage. But the one who is in a prema stage, he never gets tired. His heart thoroughly melts and becomes unaffected by the opinions of ordinary people. He's completely oblivious. Sometimes he loudly calls out to Bhagavan, seeming to be mad. Sometimes he laughs, and sometimes he wears those 9 symptoms that cannot be imitated, one who is in that stage. Sometimes in a sweet voice, he sings of Bhagavan's charming qualities. And sometimes upon receiving darshan of Bhagavan, he dances before him. But the onlookers, they cannot see Krishna is with the devotee, They think that he's a madcap dancing alone like that. Okay, now Kapil Dev to Mother Devahuti. Oh mother, my devotees are always seeing my beautiful and benevolent transcendental forms, which are endowed with eyes the color of the rising sun and the charming lotus face. Krishna has the eyes reddish, just like a rising morning sun, you must have seen, very, very reddish disk of sun that you see, right? So Krishna's eyes are like that. The devotees lovingly converse with these various forms which are hankered for by great ascetics. So that hankering must be there. Not the hankering whether I get a good job, good raise, money, car, house. That kind of hankering is gone. Now you're hankering for hearing Krishna Katha. That is the Lakshana, characteristics of Prema Bhakta. For us, it's all a dream now, right? Now, of course. Then Kapil Dev continues, oh mother, the mind and senses of my devotees are completely absorbed in the sweetness of my divine forms, whose limbs are attractive, whose smiles are playful and wide, whose glances are charming, and who speaks sweetly. It's all the characteristics of Krishna. Although my devotees do not desire to achieve the supreme destination, my divine abode, the Prema Bhakta to me enables them to do so. So a Prema devotee, he is not even bothered about going back to spiritual world. All he wants is to participate wherever Krishna goes in his pastimes, to become a particular Krishna's associate in that. Okay. So now this is, let me go back. Something very important we are going to hear this in this slide. Very, very important, very significant. And I hope one who is going to recap next week do not forget to mention this one. There's an apparent conflict. What Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that you never doubt, right? And what is given in Bhakti Vedanta Sutra, there is an apparent conflict, but there is no real conflict really. That is what we're going to hear here about. Okay? And this is the here 5C, the living entity's bondage and the means by which he can become free from it. Bondage means trapped in material existence, okay, and how to become free. So here, let me first read here. By the instructions of Sadhu and Shastra, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, the living entity bound by illusion practices sadhana bhajana. He thereby relinquishes his material false ego as the impressions of his spiritual ego gradually develop. So this is the process, how a devotee transgresses his material existence into spiritual existence. Okay, there's a transition, but how and when that happens, this is what given. Okay, so here look at this paragraph, very, very significant paragraph. Okay, unlike in Bhagavad Gita 3:27, what is the 3:27 verse? Prakrutiye kriyamanani, prakrutiye kriyamanani, gunai, I forgot the verse. Gunai karmani sarvasa, gunai karmani sarvasa, ahankar vimudhatma, kartaham iti manyate. So who is the doer? When somebody is under the influence of the false ego, what is false ego? False ego means bodily conception of life, that I am this body, I'm so and so like that. When you are in that and becomes bewildered, then you think that you are the doer of all the activities. But in reality, it is the three modes of material nature that is the real doer. That is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. But look what Vedanta Sutra says, which seem like diametrically opposite. But I'll explain to you, in reality, it is not. Okay. Bhakti Vedanta, this Vedanta Sutra states that the conscious living entity is the doer indeed. Krishna says, no, living entity is not the doer when he is Vimudhatma, when he is bewildered by the bodily conception of life. Okay. Actually, three modes of material nature is the doer. But here Vedanta Sutra says, no, material, this living entity is indeed the doer, not the material modes. Completely opposite, right? But here is a trick to understand properly. Actually, what it says that we have the free will, limited. Granted, it's very limited. Nonetheless, we have a free will and Krishna does not interfere. So instead of being bewildered by the bodily conception of life, ahankara, with great determination, we can choose our destiny against the will of the three modes of material nature. Because when you want to come to Krishna, Krishna himself help us. So there is no real conflict. You make use of the free will, and that is the bottom line of the hypothesis I developed. You are born with a particular characteristics, right? It is what they say, it is in your DNA. But just because it is in your DNA, you don't become a slave of your DNA. Sequence of DNA determines our hereditary characteristics, no doubt about it. But with strong determination, you can control the reading of the DNA, expression of the genes. With strong, it is not within the purview of an ordinary person. It takes a great will, great fighting spirit, and then because of our bhakti process, which is like an environmental signal that allows us to alter the reading of the DNA, and you can control your destiny. Undesirable elements, you can get rid of it, and the desirable, that which is conducive for bhakti, you can develop by strong will and determination. Look at how am I being able to work 16, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week? How? I'm a near 80-year-old man, and still it does, because I have that determination. I want to get out of these difficulties. I want to develop Krishna. Maybe not in this lifetime, obviously, but I'm in that process. So by the strong will and determination, I have been able to change my destiny. That is what exactly is given. So what Krishna says is still true. If you are trapped into this ahankar vimudhatma, bewildered by the bodily conception of life, then you have no way. But with strong determination, make use of your free will. Then Krishna will help you and get out of it. And then you can choose the destiny, what you want. You want to become a devotee, a very firm devotee. And you want to progress onto Shraddha to Prema, that ladder, yoga ladder. And you can do it. And that I told you scientifically, is again my proposal, by the epigenetics. Epigenetics means you control the reading of your genes, not let the nature take place. By the sheer determination, sheer power of the determination, you can change the destiny of your life. That's what is given in this paragraph. So there is no conflict. Prema is far beyond liberation. So you just don't want to get rid of this material existence. You want to go beyond that, not even going back to Godhead, goal of Vrindavan Dham, but even your goal has to be how and when I can participate in Krishna Lila. Whenever Krishna comes, may the Lord chooses me to be with him, like that. Through this bhajana kriya, the devotee gradually turns these two functions of the false ego, I and mine. On the material platform, I means I am so and so. Mine, this is my house, my children, and so on, like that. Change that to I am a spirit soul. I'm part and parcel of Krishna, and my life, my very being is meant to serve him as favorable to him as possible. And Krishna is all mine, and I belong to him. That kind of concept is on the transcendental platform. When you do that, complete turnaround of your life will take place. That is what this slide teaches us. Now, here, the sequence in which I and mine are gradually disengaged from worldliness to engage in transcendence. I just explained to you what is the I and mine concept on the material platform, and that from which is on the spiritual platform. So all these bhakti stages that we discuss about Shraddha to Prema, right? So bhajana kriya with anishta bhajana kriya means that which is not with steadiness, not with great determination, and that which is with determination is nishta bhakti. So at that stage, and you progressing ruchi, asakti, bhava, and then ultimately prema. So in the beginning stage, I've given 5-star arbitrarily to worldly sense. At the anishta bhakti stage, when your bhakti is not with great determination, okay, not with steadiness, attending the classes 1 week, 2 weeks, then next 3-4 weeks you don't attend, then you still come back, and after a while you become a dropout. You don't want that, So have a steadiness. I will attend regularly. That determination has to be there. Then slowly the worldly sense of I and mine will change to see that transcendence. See that complete 5-star at the Anisa, ultimately going to all the prema states completely disappearing. And on the transcendental platform at the prema state, there's 5-star. a completely opposite picture is taking place. Same way here, the sequence in which one is able to meditate upon Bhagavan. Anishta stage, there are 5 stages of worldly sense, going all the way to prema, gradually dissipates that worldly sense of explanation. Then you transcendental platform gradually increases to prema stage. Okay, the author's prayer. So now the final slide. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is giving us praying on our behalf to the Supreme Lord, particularly here, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. May this Madhurya Kadambini, which is drawn its torrents of rasa, nectar, from the nectarine ocean of charming sweetness. Remember, ocean water evaporates to form a cloud, right? And the cloud carries the moisture, torrential rain. So here also, the ocean of charming sweetness of Krishna that develop a cloud of nectar and which pours torrential rain of nectar. So that is what he's praying to Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to satisfy the whole creation. Look at this, is the sign of a true devotee. He's not thinking about himself. He's thinking of the world, all of us. On behalf of us, he's praying Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to shower that nectarian for our benefit. Swayam Bhagavan Rajendra Nandana Sri Krishna is the embodiment of all rasa. He is the Akhil Rasa Murti. He is the embodiment, he is the personification of all the 5 rasas, actually. To satisfy the 3 unfulfilled desires, how Krishna came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We already learned this thing in Sri Radha Tattva course. Remember that, his desire was instigated by his relishing the. So Krishna was very curious. What makes my Radha loves me so much? What is in me? What does it say in my beauty, in my charm? What does he say that? So I want to experience myself, and he could not do it by himself. So he had to come as in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So he took the complexion of Srimati Radharani to experience that what Radha felt for him. So that's the bhava and complexion. He took it from Srimati Radharani, the embodiment of prema, and descended in the form of Sachidananda Sri Gaura Hari Sri Gaura Sundara. The ocean of nectarian sweetness is indeed the most astonishing combination of the ocean of rasa and the ocean of prema. So rasa and prema goes side by side. The full waves of Madhurya rasa forever swell within him in their completeness. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is now the embodiment of the rasa. It is only by tasting the rasa of the ocean of his sweet pastimes that the topics described in this Madhurya Kadambini are realized. Let me read again. Pay attention. It is only by tasting the rasa of the ocean of the sweet pastimes that the topics described in this Madhurya Kadambini are realized. Shraddha to Prema, the progression. By regularly putting into practice with devotion the topics in this book, the sadhaka bhakta practitioner can easily traverse the various obstacles to bhajana. Remember, anatha nivrutti and all that kind of thing, such as aparadha and the desire for wealth, worship, and prestige, and achieve prema. So all these things replaced by pure prema bhakti. In concluding this book, the most revered Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur showers his mercy and blessings upon the entire world by saying what? By the compassion of Sri Gaura Sundara. He is praying to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on our behalf. May this Madhurya Kadambini, which is arisen from the ocean of his transcendental pastimes, thoroughly cool and completely satisfy the inhabitants of this entire world. He's praying for every one of us, and who are endlessly burning in the fire of these threefold miseries, 3 modes of material nature, with his showers of nectar. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Prabhupada, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. So by the great causeless mercy of our Guru Parampara, we have been able to complete yet another course. And I'm so happy. I'm very, very grateful to all of you to help me to achieve this goal. And tomorrow we will start the new course, Sri Jaiva Dharma. That is by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Sheer determination, you can achieve what you want.
Yeah.
And Krishna will help us.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. It was so nice, so wonderful. Had I been left alone to read the book, I wouldn't have finished it at all. So many courses with your mercy and all that. Thank you so much.
Ramya, it is paraspara. We help each other. If you are not there, my existence is not there. A teacher does not, in fact, I don't call myself a teacher. I'm a fellow student. But even a teacher, his existence is not there if students is not there, like that. So without all of you, I would not have achieved this thing. Hare Krishna. And
thank you so much.
A great deal of gratitude I owe it to Sharad Prabhuji. He is my right hand. Hare Krishna. Yes, Raju Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for wonderfully completing this Madhurya Kadambini, Prabhu. That too, the last, when I was hearing this last 6 symptoms of this prema stage, even though the person without the in this material body, we can't feel these symptoms, but our acharyas, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya acharyas are given these symptoms in the spiritual body. That's what you always pray this song, Nana Shastra Vichara Naika Nipuna. So these layers by layers detail is, I don't think it is available in the any other Sampradaya. I'm not offending anyone, but just it is so much nectar is layer by layer, even in the Ujjvala Neelamani and this Madhurya Kadambini. All this of scripture, it is very, very comprehend to the material mundane mind like me, but this treasure is already given in this earthly planet. If we have a desire, we can take it inside. That is what I found, Prabhu. Just thank you so much to Sharad Prabhu and yourself and Sanjeev Prabhu and all the team tirelessly working behind the scene. So if I say just thanks, it is not enough. So please shower your blessings so that we can follow all of your footsteps. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Rajibu, thank you you are very generous. Thank you so much. I appreciate very much all of you. I owe everyone to all of you, everything. So like I said, it's a great deal of knowledge, depth of knowledge is there in our sampradaya, and perfect logic. And look at who are our teachers, acharyas. They are actually direct participant from Krishna Leela, and in Chaitanya Leela, they directly received all this information straight from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Lord himself. So Mahaprabhu gave them the secrets of this Krishna Prema Bhakti, and they just put a foundation, scriptural foundation, and gave it to us, And there's a perfect logic, scientific logic. There is nowhere else that I've seen that, You're right, amazing. It's really amazing. We are very, very fortunate to belong to this particular Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
And so mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu flows by the mercy of all these great acharyas. Srila
Yes.
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Jiva Goswami, Rupa Goswami, all this. Such great souls are there. How
Thank you.
fortunate, how lucky we are. Hare
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Radha Vinod Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Yes.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. I am so thrilled that Prabhuji, I regret I could not join earlier. And because I didn't know or whatever may be the reason. Again, Mataji was saying that when I read the book and Prabhuji, your notes, I see why you are revising and sending it, because you are living through that book. You are trying to, see how we, as a, how we can understand, and that's your mercy. The reading book and reading your notes, the notes really gives a schematic, as you mentioned also, right? How it is going. It's a very difficult subject. I'm trying to read your notes after and when before the class and all that. But the subject is so so deep. That's one part. Again, coming back to what I see. Look at the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He gives the philosophy, steps and connects with the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is not standing in isolation. So
Yes.
where the faith comes, like person I'm coming and thinking maybe even Gaudiya Sampradaya, okay, so many 6 Goswami, so what? Some outside person also can relate. This is not different from Srimad Bhagavatam. He is taking essence of that and putting in the format which easy to understand. Otherwise, reading 18,000 slokas, by end of that we forget what we are reading. So this is the mercy of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and all 6 Goswami, the Vrindavan, mercy coming of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how we can glorify, by just hearing from you and Sharat Prabhuji, all devotees, beautiful, wonderful association, Prabhuji. I'm thrilled on that. Thank you, Prabhuji. I
Thank
pray
you,
for
Prabhuji.
your mercy.
Thank you. You're very kind, Prabhuji. Very
Thank
kind.
you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We are a good, very well, close-knit family. Any other questions, comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Dinti Mataji. So good to hear from you.
I'm extremely grateful to you, Prabhuji, because you serve this nectarian devotion of Madhurya Kadambini. It's so wonderful that it is. I feel that I'm marching little towards the Bhakti mark. I don't know in what stage I am, either in Shraddha also or not. But still, I feel that I am very much fortunate to be with you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Sarat Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Dipti Mataji. You are too kind, actually. You have been a regular participant in so many of our courses. You've been with us for quite some time. That itself speaks volumes about your sincerity and of your steadiness. Thank you so much, determination. And I'm very, very fortunate to have all of you. Krishna sent my way. Haribol.
Hare Krishna
Anybody
Prabhuji,
else?
Dandavat Pranam.
Raksha
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna
Yes.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Many congratulations to entire team. We are so fortunate Prabhuji कि हम ये सब इतना अच्छा सुने. बहुत ही हम बस एक होप, मैंने लास्ट टाइम भी बोला था, एक हमारे जीवन में एक आशा का किरण आया है कि हम बस मालूम है कि अभी ये है तो अभी हम और ज्यादा ईगरनेस से, स्टेडीनेस से हम आगे बढ़े. बस आपका आशीर्वाद और गुरु गौरंगा का आशीर्वाद चाहिए प्रभु जी. हरे कृष्णा.
बस हम एक दूसरे को हेल्प करेंगे ना. We all depend on each other. We are a very close knit family. Okay. That's the way I
आपने
say.
हमें जो कीर्तन सेवा दी वो अल्टीमेट सेवा है प्रभु जी. वो
and you
हमारे
done
जीवन
great.
की सबसे बड़ी उपलब्धि कहलाएगी.
And
बहुत ही
remember,
उसमें जो हमें आनंद आता है प्रभु. बहुत
here, Samata Mataji deserves a great deal of credit. Her leadership in developing the singing group. Satya Devta Prabhuji, Raksha Mataji, Saga Prabhu, under the direction of Samata Mataji, you've done a superb job. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
No, Prabhuji.
प्रभु जी
It's
आपके
nothing,
आशीर्वाद
just
दीजिए कि
nothing.
हम और अच्छे कीर्तन सेवा कर सके बस।
आप लोग ने बहुत बहुत कुछ किया, मुझे बहुत खुशी है, really so wonderfully you have managed, you know, every one of you, you know, so many new bhajanas I got to hear that I never heard before, you know, and special tunes, musical talents. Lalita Priya Mataji is also a very, very important member of your singing group. If she's here, my head is off to all of you. You know, thank you. Sharad Prabhuji, I want to give it to you now.
Krishna
Thank you.
Prabhu.
Oh, Sanjeev Prabhuji, hi bol. Sanjeev
Yeah,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu, just quickly, so congratulations to both of you, very wonderful milestone achievement, and all of us together. So probably one question on the last slide, the apparent contradiction you mentioned. Well, not a question,
Yeah.
just I want to reaffirm my understanding of what you're saying is, like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says Prakati Kriyamanane. In that, what Krishna says that the nature is doing everything opposite and Krishna himself, but that is for the person who is not determined to change the course. Whereas the Bhaktivedanta purport says that the soul is fully accountable. That is for an elevated personality who is determined enough to change the course. Is that the correct understanding?
Yeah, what Krishna says is also right, correct? And obviously that Vedanta Sutra also says that is also right. Remember, just careful what Krishna says. If you're in Ahankar Vimudhatma, you're bewildered by these modes, then modes will control you. But you have to walk outside of the influence of this Vimudhatma, that you have to go outside. And Krishna has given us a free will. If you make use of that, then you can get out of it. Then you don't let the three modes of material nature rule you. And then Krishna will empower us to make use of your free will, determination. So both statements are correct. If we are in this, bewildered by this material existence, then obviously Maya will rule us with our three modes of material nature. But if we, with great determination, begin chanting Hare Krishna, hearing Krishna Katha, associating with the sadhus, and from their lotus mouth you hear Srimad Bhagavatam, then you are making very good use of your free will. Then the modes of material nature cannot work. Wherever Krishna is there, Maya cannot exist. When there is a light, darkness cannot exist. Darkness will exist only when you turn your face away from the sun of Krishna. So that's the trick. So that is where you need to have very strong willpower. Forcefully you choose the destiny by yourself. And that's how you win over the three modes of material nature. That you become the doer, not the three modes of material nature. But yes, if you are not there, if you let the modes control you, then of course the modes of material nature are the doers. You are not the doer. Hare Krishna.
God, thank you very much, Prabhu. This was very good. Thank you, Prabhu.
My whole hypothesis rests on this principle. Sharad Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, just a quick one, Sanjeev Prabhu, if you could kindly send the link of that recorded this thing, Prabhu, that will be highly appreciated, Prabhu. Thanks for all your help.
Yes, Prabhu, I am sending the whole link in, I don't know, are you in that WhatsApp group? I sent it immediately, but I will send it again.
Sorry, Prabhu, I'm
we have made a very...
Yeah, Prabhu. I'll talk to you offline, Prabhu. I don't want to waste time.
And
you,
we
Prabhu.
also made a very good playlist now. So YouTube has that feature of playlist. So you just click on one link, you will be able to see all the 24 lectures one by one and hear them. So Yeah,
Sure,
that,
Prabhu. I'll
that
speak to you
functionality of
offline, Prabhu.
YouTube is very good. Yes, yes, Prabhu. Thank you, thank you.
Sure. Hare Krishna.
So, see, it's Maya gives us the wrong sense of priorities in our life. Maya gives the wrong sense of priority, you know. Okay, Sharad Prabhuji, it's in your, I'm sorry, it's only 10 minutes are there. Please go ahead.
Prasad Prabhu wants to say something, I think.
Prasad Prabhu is there? Haribol, where is my dear friend? Prasad Prabhu, let me see you. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
I just joined with you. Danut Pranam Prabhu. Okay, such a
Danut
wonderful
Pranam.
session. Congratulations to you, Prabhu. Okay, and Sharat Prabhu. Okay, so actually these sessions, okay, whatever we are hearing, okay, help us to understand, okay, what is the complete depth, okay, and what is our current state, at least my state, and what is the kind of depth is there, okay, and how much is there for me to focus and swim into it. That has given a great understanding in that, Prabhu. Okay, thank you very much. So
Thank you.
as Raji Prabhu and everybody is saying, like, we are so fortunate, Prabhu. Unfortunately, we don't know how fortunate we are. Okay, that is sometimes a misfortunate. Okay, we don't know how fortunate. Thank you very much, Prabhu. The greatest
you.
thing is, okay, we have the notes. Okay, as Prabhuji mentioned, we have the notes, we have the textbook, we have the notes. So if both combine, it's a great nectarious thing for us. Okay, thank you very much, Prabhu, for all your efforts. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you. Sharad Prabhuji.
Chandra, thank you, Sharad Prabhuji. Really, I'm very fortunate to be the part of this.
Hi, Harsha. My sister. My
Chandra,
Harsha is my
I'm
sister.
very grateful to you. You got me in this. I'm very grateful to you. Thank you.
Well, I'm
Chandra
grateful
Pranam.
to you. You've been with me for so many years now. Thank you,
We
Harsha.
started some Bhagavad Gita course.
I please let Suresh Bhai know that we are really very, very anxious to hear his bhajanas, you know.
Yeah, sure. Last time
Thank you.
he sang, but we didn't have the proper equipment for that.
Of course, yeah.
So
Wherever
once
it's
I buy
possible.
it, yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sharad Prabhuji, and all the team and the bhajans who are doing Samta Manji, Lakshmi Mataji, and everyone. Lalita Mataji, superb. Thank you, everyone, to hear this lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, Harsha. Sharad Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Regarding the class, I have nothing to say. I want to thank everybody for attending our classes sincerely and listening, and that's why these classes are carrying on. Though Charu Prabhuji wanted to put an end long time back, but one after the other, these courses are coming. And I think the best course is going to be our next course, which is starting from tomorrow, that is Jaiva Dharma. Whatever we have learned so far, you will find the essence is there in Jaiva Dharma. It is so important, and Bhakti Vinod Thakur has put it so nicely. If we understand that, then revision of all what we have done so far, they will come, and all these things what we have learned in this Madhurya Kadambini also, we'll revisit almost all of them, and the essence of each one will be given, and that will be the most interesting, because when I read that, I find that to be most interesting, much more than anything else. And at the end, I want to thank our Kirtan party headed by Samta Mataji. They are doing such a fabulous job, and we have reached this level because of their efforts, and I am very grateful to them, and I am grateful to all the devotees who are attending the courses. And I'll request all of you to go through these courses, these slides, or if you have got the books, sometimes, so that you refresh your memory, not that we just finish the course and we put an end to that. After some time, we will forget, though the essence will certainly be in our mind. that is all right, but we should go through them from time to time. And more important, we should try to practice some of the things, at least what we are learning, so that we progress in our devotional service. And with our this great devotee association, this is going to help us in the path of devotional service. And I am very hopeful we all maybe with the mercy of Krishna will be able to reach his abode even in this lifetime. It is with his mercy that is possible. That is highly possible, even though we have not reached any level at this life, but that is still possible. That's why we should try to strive and very sincerely do our things very meticulously, and that's how we'll be successful in life. That means very specifically, we should read Bhagavad Gita, at least one verse of Srimad Bhagavad Gita and one verse of Srimad Bhagavatam every day. And what we are discussing, we should remember all these things. And with this, the Lord will be very merciful to each one of us. Thank you very much for giving me a chance. I don't have any qualification to tell you or teach you. I have no qualification, but since I have been ordered by Charu Prabhuji, I have been told by him, I am trying to do my best. My understanding is also not that much like Charu Prabhuji, but however, I do cover some subjects some of the times. With your mercy, this has been possible. With the mercy of Krishna, this has been possible, and I pray for your mercy in future also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sharad Prabhuji. Thank you. You are too modest. Now we are all benefited by your vast reading of different books. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So now, with your kind permission, I'm going to request Sagar Prabhu to conclude not only today's lesson, but even concluding Madhurya Kadambini, Sri Madhurya Kadambini. So tomorrow we will start with Sri Jaiva Dharma. Sagar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, first I congratulate Saru Prabhu, Sarad Prabhu and all assembled devotee for finishing the course of Madhurya Kadambini course.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Please accept my humble obsession. All go to Srila Prabhupada. Namaste Narasimhai. Namaste Narasimhai. Parladala Dahini. Parladala Dahini. Hirannikasi Purvaksahar. Hirannikasi Purvaksahar. Silatankar Nathali. Silatankar Nathali. Ito Narsingha, Parato Narsingha, Ito Narsingha, Parato Narsingha, Ito Yami, Ito Narsingha, Ito Yami, Ito Narsingha, Bhai Narsingha, Hriday Narsingha, Bhai Narsingha, Hriday Narsingha, Narasingha Madin Saranam Prapade, Narasingha Madin Saranam Prapade. Akala Kamala Bhari Nakadbhuta Singham Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam Savadhita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hari Jai Jagadisha Hari Jai Jagadisha Hari Akala Kamala Bhari Nakadbhuta Singham Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam Savadhita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hari Jai Jagadisha Hari Jai Jagadisha Hari Narsingh Dev Bhagwan ki Jai. भक्त प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, चारू प्रभु की जय, शरद प्रभु की जय, गुरुदेव की जय, all assembled devotee की जय होस। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण चारू प्रभु, दंडवत प्रणाम।
But Pranam Prabhuji, thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Srila Prabhupada. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. All glory to Srimad Bhagavatam. All glory to the six Goswamis of Vrindavan. All glory to also Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti.